Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us. I'm Colleen Ferrary with Small Business USA, and today I am so lucky to have Mike Liebenson from Video Active Pro on with us. And if no one has ever met Mike or seen his work, you need to go to his website immediately. And on the bottom of the screen, there's a link here to Video Active Pro. So make sure that you visit Mike and go look at some of the unique work he does. But welcome, Mike. I'm so happy to have you.
Hi, happy to be here.
Hey, why don't you start by telling, because I could brag about you all day, right? I love your work. What you do is so different than anything I've ever seen. But why don't you tell us what makes your videos different?
Well, I think that the key thing with what I'm doing compared to, when you typically think of video production, you have scripts and you have storyboards and you have a lot of planning and a lot of people being nervous trying to do it right and trying to do it perfect. So my entire approach revolves around, because working primarily with small business owners who are not actors, everything is unscripted. And so our approach by the way it's designed puts people at ease. People have less anxiety, and as a result, they get a more authentic video. Mm-hmm. And so what I like to think about our videos is it's not just what you say in the video or what you show, it's the feeling that comes out of it. This same kind of connection that you get when you're having a coffee chat with somebody and you're really hitting it off. That's kind of what we're trying to recreate through video.
We were in a board meeting with Small Business USA, and one of our members had seen your video, and the one in particular about the knife sharpening person. And it was so funny. Within a week, everyone wanted to get their knife sharpened by this man because he was so incredibly passionate about sharpening knives. I mean, it was just crazy. But what I find very fascinating is you tell a story that I don't even think the business owner knows is going to come out of it. Right? Yeah. I mean, it's so intimate and it's personal and it's true. And, in this space where authenticity is what differentiates us from everybody else, I think you stand alone. So kudos to you and your work. You're just brilliant.
Thank you.
So let's help some people here talk about videos. They have to make their own videos, and let's talk about, first of all, I have a very strong opinion, but should people make their own videos or should they hire somebody to do their videos? What do you think?
So I've given workshops and I blog quite a bit on do-it-yourself tips. So it's very possible. Here's the thing. There's two aspects to making a video for a business, or for anyone for that matter. You have the technical production part, and then you have the actual content. So if you have somebody on staff and you can get a competent a videographer who can run the equipment and make it look nice and knows how to do editing, that's one step. But the second part is you really need an experienced interviewer to do it the way that I do it, the way I promote. You need someone to lead the conversation, someone who's going to ask the right questions, the right follow-up questions, be in the moment with you, present, to facilitate that conversation while the camera runs. So you can certainly set that up if you have somebody on staff, but you can't to do it. If your question was to just do it all by yourself, then you're going to miss the mark because you don't have another body on the other side of the camera. I lost audio.
For all you business owners, first of all, I have a dog that is on my lap, like breathing incredibly heavy, like, because all she wants to do is play. So I apologize. But, I put it on mute because every once in a while we had a wolf in the backyard.
Pick her up on another computer.
She needs to be like, I don't know what hears your voice and just wants to be a part of it. It's just crazy. But a luxury of having a home office as well as a regular office. You get to bring your dog to work, right? Yeah. But I do have a strong opinion about this because I've seen so many business owners that have really not been able to capture who they are or what their message is because they try to do it themselves. And I think my message is you have to do both. There has to be a little bit of this space that we're using right now that has to be authentic and real and just make mistakes and throw things out there. But I also believe that if you're editing your own stuff, you are missing gigantic opportunities. And first of all, everybody should have a professional video made, because someone like Mike, and whether you use Mike or anybody else, I mean, Mike's videos are extraordinary. Visit his website. It's so different than anything I have ever seen out there. And that's why you're so good. And that's why you're so in demand and way too reasonably priced, quite frankly. But
I'll change that.
But I think you need an expert. Business owners, the problem with the business owner is that we get too much into our own business. We forget to look at it objectively. We forget to look at it from a customer's, a 3,000 foot level. We just kind of get out there and say, hey, this is me and I know I'm right. And a lot of the time we're not thinking about the customer. Most business owners, every business owner, I believe, needs a coach for that purpose, right? And I think what you do, and by hiring a professional, whether it's you or somebody else, it helps you recognize, is your message right? Are you really targeting who you want to target? Mm-hmm. But I think you need that balance of both, right? People need to see live, unscripted, which yours are very kind of unscripted, it feels.
Well, so yeah, I think I know what you're driving at. It's that perspective. So I agree with what you said earlier, that everyone needs to have a mix of this raw YouTube video stuff they can take on their own straight to upload, but then you need something that's polished that, theoretically would go on your homepage. That's your first impression as for your actual video that's going to represent your company.
Right.
And so although we have an unscripted style to capture it, there's still a specific message going through it. So it's not, and this outside perspective, putting it together, not you yourself,
right,
is important.
Yeah, so yes, thank you for clarifying that for me, right? Because I didn't articulate that very well, but you did. So what is think about the last videos that you've done, right? And what are the people that you create videos for, what are they most surprised about?
Usually they'll ramble on for an hour. We'll interview them and they're always saying, I don't know if what I just said made sense, or I don't know if I answered your question. And then when we go back and look at the tape and we put it together, they can't believe how good they come off. And I hear that's probably the number one thing, is that they can't believe that they said some of the gems that they said.
Right. So, it's funny. I happen to know somebody who you did a video for, and this person is absolutely crazy. Like, to put together a complete coherent sentence is not something that they're known for. And the videos that you create really kind of bring those most important messages through. And so if you're going to give somebody an amateur advice, how do they make sure that they're getting the right message through?
I think it comes down to, again, the person on the other side of the camera. It doesn't have to even be a video producer. It could just be somebody who knows enough about your business to ask the right questions. And not that they have to be an expert in your industry, but they need to take almost the stance of a prospect. So the thing that I love is when I'll sit down with somebody to do their video, to interview them, and we're exploring together what it is that makes them unique. Right. And so we never, we have an idea. We go in there with assumptions about, we're good at this, we're the leaders in this, all the benefits of their business. So we do some research, but getting down to what is it, what is that thing that maybe they didn't even realize themselves that was special about what they do. And a lot of times here's the thing about video, a lot of times it can't be expressed with a sentence. Sometimes, like that knife sharpening video, when you see the founder's face talking about, and it's almost it's just crazy. It's like when you see the smile on his face when he talks about sharpening knives, you just know that this guy is going to hire all the right people, and it takes this so seriously. It's insane. So sometimes it's not what you say, but it's the physiology that you're putting forth. And so the video, a video is not supposed to do everything for your business, but you take this component of showing the person behind the business, showing their passion, and you couple it with your more specific messaging on your website, and now you have a whole package. That's the way I look at it.
I often refer to Simon Sinek's why, because I think that business owners really have to be in touch. The thing that connects them to their audience is why they do what they do, right?
Yeah.
And I think your videos really do that. So if you had to say, okay, here's a list of things that you're going to create your own video, and here's, 5 things that you have to do. I would probably say one of those things is you have to include your why. Why do you do this business? Where does your passion come from? What else would you include in that list?
All right. So there's a few core things, and it's not always the same, but I always try to include, and I don't know if I'm hitting your question or not.
Yes, you are. Exactly.
Specific things that I want to get into every video is a little bit about, you want to obviously get a little bit about what you do. So some businesses, a lot of coaches, a lot of consulting, it's not really clear what it is that they do very often. So you want to try to get that succinctly across. That's one. And number 2 would be some kind of a value nugget. So this is Ask the Expert, right? So we want to get a little bit of them being the expert in the video. So they're not saying I'm great because they're being great. They're being about it instead of talking about it. Excuse me.
That's awesome. I love
it. The third part would be some kind of a call to action.
Do you think business owners are naturally really great at delivering a call to action in videos?
No, I don't.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I don't even know how you pull that out. You do. I've watched your videos. I don't know how you pull that out of people.
Well, usually it's funny. We'll go an hour and a half having a conversation while the video camera runs, and everything's off the cuff. Everything is simply, I'm like what you're doing with me. You're asking questions and I'm answering, and that's it. But then at the end, we'll talk about a call to action. And this is the only part where they're usually like, oh, I don't know what a call to action would be. And then I'll suggest things to them. And then this is the one part in the video where they have to say something scripted. And this is where everything falls apart. This is
really?
Where, because I have a marketing background more than a video background. So I think about the big picture about how we're going to use the video and how we're going to grow business with it. So I'll say to them, you should do, giveaway. Do you have a white paper you can give away? So tell them, go to our website to sign up for our ebook, something like that. And then now that we have this sentence and the words matter, so I give them exactly what they should say, and they try to say it, and that's when they get all nervous because now they had to memorize something.
Right.
So I don't know if that answers your question.
No, it does. That's fascinating, right? What is the biggest mistake you see in all videos? What is the one thing you just makes you crazy, Mike?
So it makes me crazy when I see somebody's eyeballs reading a teleprompter. And even on TV. Okay, so I just saw Martin Sheen is doing something for the people of Appalachia. He's trying to raise money, like Save the Children, but it's for West Virginia.
Right.
So he's on, and this commercial's running currently, and you see him really close up, and he's not looking at, he's kind of looking at the camera, but he's kind of not. And it's just so blatantly obvious that he's reading something. And it doesn't give me a warm and fuzzy. It totally gives me a feeling of this guy is just being, it's just fake. He's just reading something. Even though we know people read the news, some people do it better than others. And when you see it, when you see their eyes back and forth, that's unsettling to me.
You know, I love your business model and what you're doing. I love that you're helping people through that piece that, you know, it's funny that you said that about the teleprompters. And the first thing I thought of was, okay, they need Mike, right? They need Video Active Pro. They need, Michael Douglas needs you to go have a real conversation with him and put together something that's going to move people beyond belief, right? I mean, that's what you do. And I love that you do it for CEOs and executives too. And I think the higher, you know, I saw this when I was in corporate America. One of the biggest challenges is people need to be inspired, especially during tough times, by their CEOs. And I think they undervalue how important that transparency and that connection with their team are. And a video in so many different levels, even to deliver news, you know, deliver big major changes is so important. And to do it in a style that can be completely transparent and inspiring and like you do it, I think is so valuable. So, Mike, what is, let's talk technical a little bit, right? Mm-hmm. Let's kind of say, you know, how do you care about, I mean, obviously when you create something, sound quality and video are really important. But when you think about marketing a business and videos for small business owners, how important is that stuff?
I think the, you know, we're beyond having it look good and sound good. At this point, if you use an iPhone and you put it on a tripod and you get an actual lapel mic to plug into it and you have lots of light, you can fool people into thinking that you had a $6,000 video camera. Mm. So it's not about technology. If you don't at least, if you try to do your own video and you don't at least hire somebody or get the right equipment to make it look and sound good, then shame on you. I mean, you can buy the stuff for a few $100s. Right. But to me, it's not about that. It's about, you know, now there's different levels. You can, you know, to make something artsy and make it really pop, you need specialized equipment and you need knowledge. But if you're just going to do a talking head video, right, you don't need, you know, equipment is not, there's not a high bar to entry there. But, you know, my focus is always on, like, I assume that that part's going to happen. And then the part that I concentrate on is what's being said, how's it being edited.
So that was my dog. So you hear the mute button? That was my dog running to go growl at the neighbor. There are some downsides to doing videos from home. Oh.
Wow. A big dog.
Yeah. Well, golden retriever, but like, you know, it's so crazy. It's so she's so protective. It's insane. So not good for video quality, I take it, but very real and authentic.
So I don't know if you want me to get into more detail with setting it up. I mean, I'm assuming lots of people watching this they're looking for some tips on how they could do it themselves. And, you know, they can do it themselves. My thing is, there's lots on my blog. I've written about you setting up and what lights to buy. Actually, there's a whole, I can find the link later. I have a whole list and with links where to buy things.
Oh, really? And that's all where's your blog? How can they find that?
videoactivepro.com/blog. It's only a few posts in where I did this list of where you can buy things and recommendations. So you can go and get the right lights, camera, microphone, even editing software, and set things up, make your own video. But the missing ingredient that you can't do yourself is having another body do that. So if you're a small business person, you can go set all this up in your office and then go find somebody who's a good talker, who's a good interviewer, and have him or her ask you the questions, and you could essentially do what it is that I do.
I would disagree with that. And I was just I just met somebody for coffee last week that knows you, and Tanya.
Yes.
And she said, if you've never seen Mike interview someone, you have never really experienced Mike Liebenson. And she really talked about about your style being so real and so genuine and so making people feel so comfortable, and that your questions are so point on and focused that it makes a big difference in the video. And I see the end result, but it's interesting to hear somebody who's actually witnessed you do this, mm-hmm. and who can really talk to how comfortable you make people feel. I think that speaks volumes, right? What a great testimony.
Yeah, I'm almost blushing. That's awesome. I just want to, not everyone, obviously I would love to work with anyone that needs a video, but not everyone is going to be in a position to hire someone like me. So I'd rather someone do something than nothing. Don't let that stop you, because you don't need to make one perfect video. You should just get into making video.
You asked me why I use Blab earlier when we first got on, right? And for me, it's easy, and I like kind of the picture frame screen, and I can have more than one guest on if I want. But what do you think about, there's so much technology out there right now, if you're a business owner, to go after what you're doing. There's, whether it's Skype or Hangouts or Periscope, or do you have any favorites?
I'm not great on the social part of this. Mm-hmm. I will tell you, YouTube is my #1 platform for the video. So record the video yourself, not using an app. So you record the video so you have a physical file, either using your phone or using a real camera. And then once it's ready, then you upload it to YouTube. And once it's on YouTube, then it can be shared everywhere. And that's kind of, for search engine traffic, that's the main place to be.
There's this great story about this woman who created $1.5 million a year enterprise just on YouTube. And it's because she just videotaped herself doing what she loved. It's a hair extension business.
Yeah.
So she just kept putting up videos on there, just doing what she loved, sharing with the world, and then realized that, wow, she could get these hair extensions cheaper and sell them. And it turned into this, $1.5 million a year business. So I think, my message to a business owner is whatever platform you use. We use Blab very consistently every Tuesday, and we use iTunes podcasts, which are very successful for us. We have our own website that's a driver, but we don't venture out into 9 or 10 different mediums. And I know Snapchat is growing in popularity, but I think it's really about what you're putting out there and having a consistent message about where you're sending it. So there's an expectation for the people that you're touching. If you're in 100 different places at 100 different times, you're going to reach 100 different people who are going to see you once or twice. And really the number that you have to reach people is 7 to 9 times, right? Before they actually believe and trust you. So consistency is key. And if YouTube is your place and the place that you want to market from, there's nothing wrong with that.
Well, I just want to say one more thing about that. I agree with what you're saying. You don't want to be so diluted that you're trying to be everywhere, but in a way you can be. So if you start with, this isn't for daily little bits. This is for like a chunk of content, which you might create once a week or right. once a month. So when you create a video and you put it on YouTube, now I'll share that everywhere. So I'll share that on LinkedIn, Google+, tweet it. I'll do a thumbnail picture. I'll put it on Instagram, Facebook. But the places where I'm actually spending time, for me personally, so it's Facebook and it's YouTube. So somebody might find me on LinkedIn and hopefully they'll track back to my main platform. But the reason I'm spreading it everywhere is because some people are big into Twitter. So you kind of need to be where other people are.
That's true.
But if you create one piece of content, why not share it everywhere? That's kind of my strategy.
Yes, and I think that as long as you're consistent, it's going to reap results. But don't expect to throw it out there on Twitter and then all of a sudden, you're tweeting once a month. You're not getting a following from tweeting.
Well, ultimately, you want to pick one. I think you need to pick one main platform, and you want to always be bringing people back there. And to me, it's probably, email list would be number one because you own that.
Right.
You're not, relying on if Facebook ever goes out of business.
Right. So true.
So, yeah.
So true. Hey, what did we miss on this conversation? What would you want people to know? Did we miss anything? See, this is how I throw the interview on your lap and say, "Ooh, I don't know if I asked good enough questions, Mike. What do you have?"
No, you're great. I'm struggling with where we would go next in terms of, I could certainly talk about do-it-yourself, giving people the knowledge, giving advice for doing their own videos. I always feel bad just talking about me. This isn't.
Well, I think they talk about you. But what if I ask you some power questions? Are you ready? Simple, quick questions. So, background or no background? How important is it?
Okay, well, this isn't a simple question. Do you see? The way I look at it, okay, so if you have a cool background, then use it. If you don't, then use something plain and non-distracting. And then, see, a lot of times we'll edit in other imagery. It's hard to explain, but let's say you're watching a video and you're seeing him talk, and then it's showing shots of the business, and then you're seeing him talk again, and then you're seeing other, slide. You're seeing other imagery besides him talk.
Right.
So, depending on if you have imagery of people in your business or some of your products, edit it in, and you're behind just, a plain gray backdrop, then the people will think that you are where the other images are. So it doesn't always matter, but you can get away with a plain backdrop.
Okay.
Depending on your other imagery.
I always worry about my background in this particular office because it's all windows. So you can see like the reflections. You can see somebody come up. You can see animals in my glasses. You can see like my neighbor out, like pulling seaweed out. I mean, it's like crazy, right? Like, but I'm always like, you know what? I don't know. It's real. So I always wonder, is it distracting? There's some people who have these really fancy backgrounds. So, and I think business owners kind of struggle with how much should the stage be set, It
just all depends because, again, if you're doing a blab or you're recording right to a webcam, you want it to look nice but not distracting. So what you have is okay. I might do a little less, honestly. I know you want to have
I have like this one little wall. This is the only wall. I know. It's 8-foot section of my entire wall.
I wish we could move the wall back a little bit. Can you do that?
It's funny. I've moved this desk all around, and it's just like, it's funny. This is the only place where I can get consistent lighting too. So I probably need to invest in a sheet or, a fancy backdrop, whatever it is.
No, yours is actually, it's good compared to many. So,
hey, okay. Favorite editing software.
Okay, so I'm out of the box compared to most of the industry. My favorite editing software is called Sony Vegas, like Las Vegas, and it's a professional quality, but it's very easy to use compared to, you'll hear a Premiere and Final Cut are kind of the most popular, but Sony Vegas has, in my mind, has less of a learning curve. and it's still powerful enough. So,
okay. Tell us about your first video of yourself you ever shot. Have you ever done your selfie video?
Yeah, don't ever go looking for it.
It's out there. Excellent.
Yeah, there's some pretty horrible. The first? I did a batch of videos early on because before I was video active, I was CT local marketing, and it was all about just straight online marketing. It wasn't really about video. So I did a number of videos on just different tips. You know, do I need a website? That kind of stuff. And yeah, it's nothing like what I do now.
No.
But it's tricky. It's hard. When you told me about this call today, I was excited because I never get interviewed. I never get to do what I do for other people. You know, I've done lots of videos for myself, and I have to end up pretending there's someone on the other side of the camera, and it's hard.
I bet.
I had one person interview me once, and it was just it wasn't the same because I was in my own head thinking about, I want him to ask me this. I was trying to control it.
Oh, interesting. Oh, yeah. Interesting.
Maybe that's my problem.
So I know that my favorite video of yours is your wife's video. Your wife is a wedding photographer and very talented. That's my favorite video I've seen of you that you've done. But please tell me, what is your favorite video you've ever created?
Probably, yeah. You know, my favorite is probably. Speaking of Heather, my wife, we did a video this past Halloween, A Photographer's Nightmare, and it's a little spoof. It's a spoof, half on Hitchcock and half on what do you call it? On Nightmare on Elm Street. So it's totally not what I do. It's not a marketing video.
Right.
It's just about what happens when your 5-year-old daughter gets a hold of your $3,000 camera.
That's
so
awesome.
That's my favorite.
All right. Who's your dream interview?
Dream interview. I would love to interview Jon Stewart.
Really? Oh, that would be great.
Or maybe Billy Joel, if we're going to go that way. Something like that.
I want you to interview Donald Trump. That's who I want you to interview him, and I want you to create a video that, and I have no political affiliation. I'm not choosing sides.
Yeah.
But he is probably the most divisive person in America right now. I want you to create a video and make people fall in love with him. You
know, I think he's already pretty authentic.
Yeah.
But the problem is I'm not a magician. So, I'm not taking sides either. You know, I like him the way he's authentic. But I don't know that he even knows who he is. You know, I think he got used to being strategic with every mouthful. So,
right.
I mean, so what I'm driving at here is if I were to take a regular business owner and make a video for them, if that business owner does not have integrity, I can't help him.
Right.
Because I'm trying to get into, I'm trying to remove the layers of the onion. And if the person at the core doesn't know who they are, or the person at the center isn't maybe all that great, you don't want me to do a video of you. That's not going to work out for you.
Is there someone who, if they came to you and asked you to do a video, that you would say absolutely no?
Yeah, I've done it for the reason I just
oh,
said.
Really?
If I don't think I can do a good job for them, I wouldn't do it. I mean, it's a hard thing to do, because we need to make money,
right.
But yeah.
The CEO of Pepsi-Cola said the greatest lesson that she got in life was from her father. And her father challenged her that everyone has positive intent. And I love that comment because it's helped me so many times throughout the years. And I believe if somebody does not have positive intent or they've proved me wrong, I just, I will say no to them as well. But it is what Abraham Lincoln said. Between that and Abraham Lincoln saying, I don't know that man, I'll have to get to know him better. I think that there are so many people out there that are so misunderstood who are trying to do good and trying to do well and just do not take the right street or do not say the right thing. And I wish I could just take them all, bundle them up and send them to you and say, because I think it's so important that people understand that there is good in almost everyone. I mean, there's some psychopaths out there, but
yeah, I didn't mean to. For the most part, people are good and they're misperceived.
I knew what you meant. You didn't didn't come across saying anything bad.
But you have people that are, they have the wrong intention. Is more the thing. It's not about.
Right.
Some people don't want to let their guard down.
Right. Hey, I just got a text asking for Heather's website. I'm gonna just post it. Can you remind me what it is?
Thatphotographergirl.com.
Thank you so much for reminding me of that. So, you and Bill. Hey, last words. Final. Let's wrap up with some final word of wisdom. No pressure, but this is where you have to come across and say something incredibly profound that will bring this whole blab together.
I didn't plan this. You didn't give me a heads up on this.
What advice do you hear yourself giving people most often?
I guess the thing that I would tell you that goes through my head through most of an interview is the question, so what? Or who cares? Or why is that important? I think I'm a natural skeptic, but I'm also curious. So, when you have, these videos are very often like a coaching session. Not that I'm a coach, but, people go into business and they don't necessarily think enough about what the prospects or customers actually want. They're just like, I'm good at this, so I'm going to, if I build it, they will come. But I think that outside perspective is so crucial, and most businesses lack that.
I love that. So when you think about marketing, just so I understand, you should just ask yourself, so what? So
yeah, that's so when if I asked you, Colleen, what does Small Business USA do? You might say something, like, well, we help small business owners so they're not alone. And I might think, or I might say to you, well, so maybe I want to be alone. I mean,
well, you make a whole lot of mistakes by yourself, Mike.
Yeah, but it's like digging. It's like taking, playing devil's advocate. It's just, trying to. Okay. If I keep pushing you, at some point, you might just explode, and then you're gonna get all passionate on me, and you're gonna no, you're gonna fight for it, and that's maybe a moment that I'm gonna pull 10 seconds of that out. Fired up Colleen, and I'm going to edit that with something else. And that's, it's all about, sometimes it's all about provoking people, especially people that are very laid back.
Well, I'm pretty easy to fire up, if you don't know.
Yeah.
But you know what, Mike, you do challenge me. I mean, you have challenged me, and I think it's great. And it just is a testament to what you do. I love when you said to me, so what is this thing, and I thought that was so great to be able to challenge and think of and make me think. And it's so funny because those who don't do teach, right? So I'm thinking, I'm really easy at provoking and prodding the bear, But it's funny that I don't necessarily prod myself as hard. So I guess I'm lucky that we're doing good things.
Well, you just said it. We can't do it alone. I think that's the biggest wake-up call that I've had recently, is understanding or realizing that I can do better when I let other people help me.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter how smart I am. It's sometimes you're in your bubble and you can't see, what other people see.
I love that, Mike. You know what? This is just, there's so much great information. I think we'll end this call. You've given us so much to think about. You've made us look at ourselves and our video and what we're producing and sending out to the world a very different way. So let's wrap up by having you tell everybody how to get a hold of you oh, look, I have a mirror. I don't even have to look at myself. Pull out my necklace. How did that happen? But just tell people how to get a hold of you.
Okay, so videoactivepro.com, and I would encourage people to sign up to our newsletter, email newsletter, subscribe to us on YouTube. All those links are on our website, and I'll talk to just about anyone for 5-10 minutes. So that's kind of my new call to action, is to keep the pressure down, to make this no pressure, just like our videos,
right,
video tapings. Let's have a 5-minute conversation and see if it makes sense to talk more.
I love that. Mike, thank you so much. You're a great guest. We took so much away, and everyone, please go and visit his website, videoactivepro.com. You will just not believe the quality of this. He is really the master in what he does. Thank you, Mike. Here's to your success, everyone. We will see you next Tuesday. Thanks for joining us.